Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the YAS Racing Association first race out of 4 here at Daytona Road Course. It's a beautiful race. I'm Austin. I am joined by the one, the only Tyler Maxon here today on Apex Racing TV.
Yes, we are here at the legendary Daytona Road Course, and we're racing some MX-5s around here tonight at a very late hour for the Europeans. The one European that we do have racing in this, Jonas Seeger. But for the majority of the Americans, it's only a 9 o'clock race, and we will have a wonderful 20-minute race to bring to you tonight.
Yeah, a little short sprint action here today for Daytona. A little roar before the 24, I must say, which we do have our own roar coming up. But this is a more appetizer friendly for a 20-minute sprint race for this 4-race championship we got going on.
Yeah, just a little short championship every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Myself and Austin will bring you that for the next 3 weeks. And then the final week's crew is still up in the air, but me and Austin will be in the commentary booth nonetheless for the next few rounds here today. And now with practice, currently you got 5 minutes left in that. It is currently Owen Watts who sets the pace here in the only practice session.
Yeah, practice session's 30 minutes long. I saw the community. I was in a few community that these guys have going on with their practice sessions. They're very close. They're very all competitive. They're all part of the same spot, and they're all teaching each other new things. But top time definitely going to Owen Watts so far with a 2-minute 12. We will have qualifying later on, so it is practice. We have seen some silly things going on, but let's just go with these liveries. These liveries that these guys have going on is just great. We got the crash test dummy right here. From Blake Bottoms, Aaron Rodgers running the Area 51 racing car, Timothy Barnes settling with a very shiny black car. We had somebody else, there's the Ghostbuster car, Bradley Yu. Austin Burdick in the Jack Daniel cars. Good choice. Getting overtaken by the Miller General Draft, and oh, he's going to spin it. It gets hit, collected. Right there. Roger Gregory, student driver. Watch out for him on track. And he's right behind Rachel Williams, the organizer of this and the MX5 coach for the Area 51 team. So I believe it's just the A51 team, and I keep saying Area 51 team because I'm just so used to that. Brian Zimmerman, U.S. Air Force.
I think that I'm probably going to say that a few times tonight, too, because I am used to saying that as well. But, yeah, we got a lot of interesting liveries here tonight. We'll just continue to run through the field while we wait on practice to end. I'm not quite sure exactly how long qualifying is, but, Austin, you can probably fill me in on that one.
Qualifying is going to be 10 minutes long, followed up by the 20-minute race for the first round here today at Daytona Road Course. Next week, if you are looking forward to that, we will be at Concord at the Oval World Tri-Oval, and this is probably, if we do give awards for best livery, this is winning it. Nick Barce,
I completely agree, and I'm trying to find a closer view because those of you who haven't seen that or aren't in the session really and are just watching it here, you will not have seen this livery, but I absolutely love this, and it looks awesome. And that's about as close-up view as I could get. That is the Stormtrooper livery. It looks absolutely amazing. Then Douglas going with a very simple livery here. So we got a lot of drivers kind of going simple, and a lot of drivers going for some pretty extravagant liveries here today.
Ooh, Jeff Mills, all camo Rockstar livery. Loving it. Yeah, next week is at Concord and the Tri-Oval. And then after that, we'll be racing at Laguna Seca. And then we're finishing off at USA International Speedway on the Oval. So it's going to be very, very fun. This is a fixed setup series, 1 drop week, no cautions, and 1 faster pair. So it's going to be a very chaotic race here today at Daytona. It's going to be a draft fest and a massive draft party, as Marco has pointed out earlier in the chat.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Daytona is one of those places where you really can't call the winner, and I think that this is going to be a very interesting series to watch the progression of this, because drivers, like you had said, are going to have to go between both road and oval in these MX-5 cars. So really, the driver who's fastest on the oval side may not be the same driver who we see win tonight, and vice versa. So it really could be a complete toss-up in the air whenever we head to Concord next weekend in USA for the final round on who's going to be able to take the championship. I think the only two that are really the normal rounds, if you could call them that, would be here in Laguna Seca.
Yeah, definitely. Laguna Seca would be the more normal for these MX-5s, because it is exactly what you race in on the rookie license, because it's a school layout as well, so it's got the cones and everything, and that will be the most competitive race because it's all fixed setup. This one is going to be who has practiced the most on this Daytona road course.
Yeah, it certainly will be in qualifying, being that it is only 10 minutes, and practice is just now ended here from Daytona. So we'll see qualifying up in just a few moments' time. And there we go. Session is just now switching over. And qualifying will begin, but 10-minute qualifying, it's going to be really difficult for these drivers to get heat into the tires, I think.
I believe it's also it is lone qualifying, so I think this is a beautiful time to ride on board with one of the cars and get a good old lap around Daytona road course. So we're on board with Jonas Seeger in that A51 car coming out of the Daytona pit lane for a lap around the Daytona International Speedway road course.
So just be quiet here, and we'll let you see what a lap around Daytona looks like.
Opening sector for Daytona road course features 2 almost identical haircuts. The first one is known as turn 3. Then you got this very fast left-hand kink right here. I'm gonna clip that inside curb. Let the car, a little bit of rotation, then into the famous international hairpin. It's a very tricky corner to get right, especially on the exit. Coming into this left-hand kick, gonna have to slow down. It's a very tight exit. Guys, want to run out onto there as you go back onto the oval, and then you just put pedal to the metal, and it's right as close as you can on the bottom of this massively banked corner. I can tell you the draft battles during the race is going to be so crazy heading into this section coming up right here. It's the bus stop chicane. You see Jonas in this newer tire model. He's actually taking an inside line. He's want to put as much stress on these tires to warm them up as fast as he can. A lot of medium speed corners in here, so the tire temperature is going to be very important in these opening laps.
Certainly will be indeed. And as Jonas Seeger is rounding turns 3 and 4, he's going to go up high to get as much momentum as possible. And we'll see him start his lap here today. It is a very long time you're on the oval, so this could be one of the more draft fest races I think that we'll see, because USA International and Concord, now while they are ovals, they really don't have a whole lot of straight to them. So Daytona will be, I think, the best opportunity for the drivers who maybe don't have the strongest pace, but they could really benefit and keep up in that draft.
USA has small straights, but they're so short. It's just very short track racing, and if you've ever done short track oval racing, USA is so familiar to a lot of people that that track is not going to be that draft heavy. It's just going to be very close racing. Concord, that little tricky triangle is just scary.
It certainly is indeed, and we'll have to see how it all works out for them tonight. So you'll see the best lap come up at the top of your screen once we see some drivers set their qualifying laps, so you can keep an eye on who is quickest, even if we don't have our timing tower up and running at this point. So I'm just trying to see few drivers, everyone pretty much coming around to start their qualifying laps. I was just trying to see if there's anybody farther up the racetrack than Jonas Seeger, but it appears that he is the highest at this point.
Where's Brian going? That's not the track.
Brian was taking a little bit of an off-track excursion. I think he wanted to do the track safari.
He was doing the track safari, and he got lost in the concrete jungle as Jonas Seeger is coming out of NASCAR Turn 1, as I call it. Even though it's counted as 2 turns, I count it as 1. Going into the bus stop chicane. Very tricky chicane to get right, especially if you want to push it. I could tell you by the numerous slowdown penalties I've been getting in the Mercedes GT3 in preparation for the Daytona 24 hours.
Yeah, it certainly is a very tricky section of road to deal with. I think it becomes a little bit easier in these MX-5s just because they are a little bit lower horsepower and they are a little bit easier to control, but being that they are on this new tire model, and that really doesn't benefit high-speed corners whenever they're cold, it certainly still will be a very big challenge for the drivers tonight.
First times coming in right now. Jonas Seeger coming across the line, sitting in P3. Blake Bottom sitting currently in P1 in that crash test car with a 2:13.05. Actually, P1 and P2 are almost tied by 0.03 of a second.
Yeah, they are very, very close indeed.
Jeremy Root coming across the line with a 2:14.596, getting overtaken by Gregory with a 2:13.978. Rachel Williams putting in a 2:14.771 with 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. We got about 2 laps to go.
It would assume so, yes. We shouldn't have a whole lot of time left in this session here today. In this qualifying, there's really not a whole lot of time in qualifying in general here. It's a very long lap at Daytona, so you're really not going to have a whole lot of time that you can work with.
Yeah, definitely. We got a new top spot. It goes to Aaron Rodgers with a 2:12.922, and that was on his opening lap as well. And I don't believe this is the same Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers, but he is driving like he definitely has a discount double check going on.
I know absolutely nothing about football, so that was all gibberish you just said to me, but I'll take your word for it there, Austin. But right now, he's only gone up hold up by 1.3 of a second. As you said, these two, Blake Bottoms and Owen Watts, they are tied currently on qualifying standings, just about at least. They're not have much in between them. But according to our timing screens, they're tied. And if you want to go ahead and grab yourself some live timing, you can head over to ApexRacingTV /timing, I believe.
We have a new top driver. Owen Watts sits up on pole currently with a 2:12.884. And I've just been informed this is a 2-lap qualifying like we usually do on all official races. So that's why there was a timing screen. That's why we're in low qualifying. It wasn't a timed low qualifying. It was a amount of laps that we're doing. So Watts currently sits up on pole as the student driver Robert Gregory is probably reading some notes about snuggle pucks and all that stuff and how to drive fast. He's got a little bit of damage actually, so he's just going to drive into the pits.
So there we go, as qualifying is just now concluding. We're at about 7 minutes and 50 seconds in, and we will be at about 2 minutes to go here in just a few moments' time. It's currently Owen Watts at the top by just over 1/10 of a second. It's very, very close, but a lot of drivers haven't set qualifying times here so far in the session, and looks like Jason here has had a bit of an issue in setting his qualifying time, and he's going to end up hitting the inside barrier.
Did he set a lap?
No, he had not set a lap yet.
Ah. Well, he's going to have a hard time. And I'm also getting a reading that he is still a rookie on our live timing screen.
Yes, we actually have a couple of rookies in the session here. So we have a very diverse field here today. We have drivers that are all the way up to about 3,500 I rating, with Jonas Seeger taking the highest, and drivers as low as 556 I ratings. So we have a very diverse field here today.
Yeah, and we have every single license class in here from A to rookie.
So there we go, a very diverse field. Eric Whiting, thanks for the subscription onto Apex Racing TV on YouTube. As we just wait on qualifying to conclude, we should have another about 30, 40 seconds left here. And then we can take you through the starting grid here for the inaugural round of the YAS Racing Association MX5.
Some beautiful liveries. I can't wait to see what these guys bring next round as well, especially the cars that took a very lax approach the first round, but it's definitely a very colorful field.
Yeah, it certainly is a colorful field indeed, and with just 10 seconds left to go, we will wait on the results to come alive. Scott Yost, thanks for the subscription to Apex on YouTube, and everyone is just now finishing up the qualifying session, and Austin will take you through the grid here momentarily.
All right, after that very close qualifying session, it's Aaron Rodgers starting up on pole ahead of Owen Watts, Blake Bottoms, Jonas Seeger, Timothy Barnes, Jeff Mills, Austin Burdick, Roger Gregory, Brian Zimmerman, Scott Dodd, Jeremy Root, Rachel Williams, Austin Bullock, and Austin Kelly ahead of Jacob Porter, Douglas McCallhan, Joe LaPhilip, Nick Barcet, Bradley Yu, Scott Yost, Eric Whiting, Jamon Banks, Jason Birch, and Bruce Rogers at the end of the field. It's a 24-car grid, and I believe it is a standing start on the tri-oval.
So this is going to end either one of two ways here today. It's either going to end in complete dismay, or it's going to end good here for the drivers trying to start on the tri-oval. This is not something that you see every day. Certainly not in MX5 racing. We can see from the blimp cam they are going to try this on the tri-oval. I'm not too sure how many people we're actually going to have once turn one hits.
I'm going to expect a lot of cars hitting the apron, especially on this new tire model. The car is going to slide off with especially the low grip. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few cars turned around before the start-finish line.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And we're looking here from the chopper cam. You can just see how big this field really is. And with just about 30 seconds left to go here, we will get ready to go racing for 20 minutes here at the Daytona road course. So as the field gets ready to go, we have about 15 more seconds. And I think that we're only waiting on two drivers. That would be Jason Birch and Bruce Rogers. And once they get gridded up, then we will get set to go racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like action. I hope you like close racing, because we're about to go racing for 20 straight minutes here for the YAS Racing Association. We're going green flag racing, and they're spinning out already as we're racing here at Daytona.
So everyone going everywhere here off the start. I think either you got a great getaway or you came off the line completely sideways here. But we'll jump back towards the front, and it looks like your front three are unchanged. Blake Bottoms into third. Jonas Seeger is down into fourth. Sorry, Timothy Barnes actually got himself up into third off the start. So pretty good start there for Timothy Barnes.
Joe LaPhilip jumped 4 spots ahead with Bradley Yeo as they're all going through the first hairpin. Very nice, very clean side-by-side action already happening, but the leaders are all packed up in a straight-up line as they're heading up into the international hairpin, led by Aaron Rodgers and Owen Watts.
Aaron Rodgers leads the field out here today. The two A51 Racing team cars. Then it's followed closely there by Timothy Barnes and Blake Bottoms. Jonas Seeger sitting down in 5th. Austin Burdick in 6th. Then it'll be Jeff Mills and really the entire field all the way close until we get back to around the 12th spot where it drops off nearly a second back to Bradley Yu.
So we're coming back out onto the oval. I gotta do this once every time we race here at Daytona. Let's go NASCAR racing, boys. So it's starting a pack racing, a little draft happening, and I remember back in the BSR MX-5 days, these MX-5s get such a great draft. We're going to see that already with Watts behind Rogers as they're heading up to the bus stop chicane. Who's going to try to make up a move down the inside? No one, but they're so close to each other in that top 3.
They certainly are indeed, Austin. They are very, very close indeed. They're really close all the way through the field. Look at this. Joe LaPhillippe, he was 5 spots up, make that 6. He is your biggest mover thus far in this race. Closely followed, though, by Bradley Yu. So he could be a contender here. But right now with Joe LaPhillippe on the outside, it looks like it's going to be a bit difficult for him to make up a move as he doesn't have the draft to his advantage. Jeff Mills gets by Blake Bottoms here on the straightaway. And that just shows, actually, Blake Bottoms gets passed by Brian Zimmerman. So Bottoms losing a lot of time. I think he may have had a slowdown heading out of the bus stop.
Believe he did. He's applied the brakes very early, trying to get that space down, as well as we saw the pass from Joe LaPhillippe being attacked on by Rachel Williams. But Aaron Rodgers getting overtaken by Timothy Barnes now, who's jumped up 4 spots. And kind of out of nowhere got into the lead.
So Jeremy Root dropping down the order here. He's had some sort of problem. Not quite sure what happened with that number 10 car.
Slow down.
Okay, very simple then. Wonderful.
It's very easy to slow down this track as Timothy cuts over the curb, dips his wheel into the dirt as he leads the field back onto the oval. Very nice on a 21 car to be into the lead, up 4 spots. Not the best exit as he's coming out the oval. It's going to hurt his speed, and here comes Rogers and the rest of the field.
I don't know if, yes, they will be able to get the run, but Rogers is going to give him the bump. And he's going to do the bump draft here to try to pull away from the rest of the field. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Let's ride on board here with Owen Watts here on his roof. You can just see the run he's got.
We might get a 3-way bump draft. This is going to be great. You actually hear him lifting off the gas, trying to save some fuel. He might underfuel his car or just wait to the craziness that we're having into the bus stop chicane. They all separate. And that might have given Rogers and Timothy some damage because it wasn't the lightest of taps. As we got
we got a car off.
That is right. Oh, car spun around. Brian Zimmerman, big hit to the side of that car.
A big hit to the side of that car.
Gregory is the car that's off.
I'm having a bit of trouble pulling up a replay here, so we're going to have to stick with live pictures at this point. We'll jump back to the front, though.
It's Rogers and Barnes. Barnes up onto the inside. Rogers trying to swing it around the outside as we're 2x2 heading into turn 1. It's going to be Barnes taking the lead, but he goes wide, and here comes Rogers. Rogers and Barnes hitting each apex, each of them leading their own little group heading into these opening hairpins. Barnes up onto the inside. Rogers trying to hold it around the outside, and Barnes going to defend it for P1.
Barnes defends here. It's a 6-way fight for the lead at this moment in time here. They've got a 6-second gap back to Rachel Williams. Does Jeff Mills and the rest of the front group of 6. It's Timothy Barnes, though. Then it's Aaron Rogers. Owen Watts sits back there. The 2 teammates are sitting at 2nd and 3rd, and Jonas Seeger, actually another one of the teammates as well to these guys. So you have 3 teammates sitting in 2, 3, and 4. So if you're Timothy Barnes right now, what's kind of the strategy going through your mind? Because you've got 3 teammates behind you who could easily gang up on you in a second.
Get in their draft. Let them pull you. Don't be a victim to their teamwork. Give up the space and just be there and be sucked up by their draft. You have the pace as, Douglas McLaughlin's in the wall.
Douglas McLaughlin He is wide, but we'll jump back here to the battle for the lead because it's side by side between Rogers and Barnes. Aaron Rodgers takes over the lead.
Aaron Rodgers now in the lead as they lead into the bus stop chicane. A51 is back into the lead, buddy. Ooh, may have cut the track right there.
Certainly could have been an off track for him, but at this point it doesn't look like he's slowing down, so I would assume that he's all good to continue on here, and he's going to get a big bump draft from Timothy Barnes. He's definitely not afraid to give the rear bumper a bit of a tap here, which at Daytona could be proved to be huge for straight line speed, but here comes Owen Watts.
Watts out of nowhere. Look at the speed he's got, absolutely clearing the field. Watts going to jump from third all the way to second, all the way into the lead. We're going 3 wide into turn 1, and it's going to be Watts all the way from a mile wide from the Pacific Ocean, almost going to try to get it into P1, but he just can't do it. Timothy Barnes holding him up, but here comes Watts still around the outside. He's going to have the inside line. Who's going to be last late breakers? It's Watts, it's Barnes, it's Watts. It is Owen Watts, your new leader here today.
Owen Watts has taken over the lead here for the YAS Racing Association round number 1. But it's not going to last long. Timothy Barnes down the inside again, and he's going to go back to the race lead. Timothy Barnes. Now it's Owen Watts down the inside. So these two trading positions through the opening sector. And as they continue to battle, this is only allowing, actually, well, I say that as Joe LaPhillip is currently 10 seconds behind and having his own little battle here with Rachel Williams.
Crash.
That's Joe LaPhillip.
That was a commentator's curse.
That was an extreme commentator's curse right there, but let's jump back to the battle for the lead. It's still on between Watts and Rogers. Jonas Seeger sitting back in third. He's going to go. He's actually on the outside now. So it's the two teammates pushing by on the inside. Listen, Austin Burdick here. He's going to join the two A51 teammates on the bottom.
Oh, he's going to try to undercut all these guys. It's a big 5-car pack going into the bus stop chicane. And actually, Timothy Barnes has been dropped by this field.
I think you're right about that one. Timothy Barnes has really been dropped by this field. He's had some sort of problems here. I'm not quite sure.
He may have cut the track. Going back onto the oval, he may have cut the track. I didn't see anything pop up on our activity feed, but it is a 5-car pack race for the lead, and these guys have so much pace, so much draft that they're pulling away from everybody else. But it's a A51 1, 2, 3 as they cross the line as we're almost halfway through this sprint race here at Daytona Road Course.
Yeah, these 20-minute races are so short here. But that's what makes these races so good, because when you get those races upwards of 30 and 60 minutes, you kind of get drivers that'll change their attitudes a little bit. You know, they'll think of it more as an endurance race, and I don't need to go all out. But in these 20-minute races, these guys aren't afraid to just go for it here, which is wonderful to see. I absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, the red mist has descended on a few of these drivers, and it's going to have to stay descended as Austin Burdick showed the nose to Seeger, but Seeger's going to show the nose back into the fast left-hander. Austin going all the way out to the curbing to get as much speed, and goes right in front of him and taps the brakes for the international hairpin to keep P3.
So he will hold on to P3 at this point. But all this is doing is allowing the front two to pull away that little bit more. But that all changes once we get onto the bus stop, because we saw last lap they had about a 1-second gap, and then going on to the tri-oval, or through the oval here, through NASCAR 1 and 2, it all disintegrated very, very quickly and ended up becoming just a massive slingshot, basically, for the driver behind.
So we're all going down the oval. We got a good old gap to Rogers and Watts. They're going side by side. They're breaking off the draft, and that's going to bring Austin Burdick and Jonas Seeger, who are drafting with each other, up to this leading pair.
They head through the bus stop here for the 5th time this race. We are just past the halfway point, and we should have about another 4 to 5 laps left to go here in this race. It's still the two A51 teammates leading this one out. Austin Burdick in the Jack Daniels car will be down in third. Then it's Jonas Seeger in fourth. Jeff Mills will round out your top five, and that is your top 5 running cars here in this field. You can see them all on one camera shot. Then it kind of
all within a second as well.
They are all within a second. Good call there, Austin. And
all within half a second as they're all going 2 wide, 3 on the outside, 2 up onto the inside. It's Watts and Rogers leading out the field, and it's A51, A51, A51 all in a line, but it's going to be Watts leading them out.
So
actually, no, it's going to be Rogers.
So they're all battling amongst each other at this point. And then there's the 3 teammates and then the 2 outsiders, really, at this point. The A51 car showing their dominance here tonight.
Well, part of the series is being co-presented by A51, so you expect these guys to be presented up there near the front. We're going to go down into the midfield battles. Look at this battle for 11 between Porter and Zimmerman. Zimmerman had a tough race, saw him get into a massive crash at the start. And you see that big old streak on that number 28 car. He's going to try to be battling with student driver of Gregory and Porter. Ooh.
Barce was off in the wall. That's the Star Wars car. Was off, and I assume into the wall then here through the infield section. So not what you want to see. Actually, I think he may have kept it out of the wall. He may have just gone for a quick spin. Even at 12 minutes in, these tires still can be cold if the drivers opted for a little bit lower tire pressure. But let's jump back to your race leaders.
It's fixed setup. They don't have control over tire pressures.
Oh. Well, now I just feel stupid. But nonetheless, though, back to your race lead.
Drama.
Look at this. Jonas Seeger. He set one in on Austin Burdick. Burdick had to lift off hard. And now this has allowed the front 2 to really stretch away. They're in a 9/10 of a second gap now.
Jonas Seeger sent it into the bus stop, and it just got absolutely buried in Owen Watt's bumper. Owen had to save that, but that just killed the momentum all for Jonas Seeger. He's going to be very slow up onto the straight. We got a big old crash. Yeo's off the track. What has happened to Yeo? I'm not sure what's happened back there, but we're going back up to the front in the battle for 3rd place. Austin Burdick is up there. Jeff Mills, he's actually just staying behind, and he's just watching.
Yeah, Jeff Mills is really just basically letting these two letting all the entire 4 in front of him battle, and just kind of, I think he's pretty much hoping for these guys to just take each other out, make it a nice easy day for him. And a nice easy victory, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that at this point. Could even just be waiting for his right opportunities. I mean, he's obviously knows that he has some pace to stay there. They're all easily able to stick with each other in the draft. As they round through, then we will see them go onto the bus stop here for what will be the 7th time in this race. They will head onto the oval.
Aaron Rodgers in that 51 car, I would say the lead car in the A51 team, getting that very sought-after number, I would say, in that team race. As, ooh, a lot of dust, as that's the student driver of Roger Gregory going slow.
Not quite sure what happened to him. We'll get replays up after we get done with the race. I will go through all the different replays that we can find. Right now we're sticking with your front group here.
Oh,
the front
look at this run from Austin. He's getting all the way up beside Rogers. Not going to set it up onto the brakes, but he's definitely set himself up for that front stretch as we have just 5 minutes to go here at Daytona.
So 5 minutes to go. We should see about 2 or maybe 3 laps left here in this race. They're going to head down the line, so we will get 3 laps here at Daytona. It'll end on lap number 10. And as they all head through NASCAR 3 and 4, they're going to fan out once again. Watts trying to make a run on the outside. He's got the momentum here on Austin Burdick, but Burdick's got the draft from Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers not really jumping up to help his teammate, but he certainly will jump up to block Austin Burdick. So Burdick's going to try it around the outside. And down and towards turn number 1, he's going to just overshoot it a little bit. And that's going to give Aaron Rodgers the position. And he may even give Jonas Seeger the position on the inside.
He's got that inside line, though, for that hairpin, but Seeger's got that nose damage, so Seeger's going to be a lot more aggressive on the break. To see him setting it right there, he can hold him down onto the inside, but Austin Burdick is going to hold it for P2, and now we see Watts trying to get P3 from Seeger.
Watts is looking for a move here. He wants to get up into P3 ahead of his teammate. And he wants to move Austin Burdick down the order. They want to make this 1-2-3 for the team, as you would. And right now, though, there isn't a whole lot more. But look at Timothy Barnes. With all this battling going on, he's slowly but surely working his way up into the field. Don't keep an eye out on him, because he certainly could be one to watch for at the end of this one.
Timothy Barnes was in the lead of the race, and then he was dropped after receiving a slowdown penalty coming out onto the oval. And this has been a good recovery drive, and if something happens at the front, he can definitely pull out all the stops with the 2 laps remaining going on in this race.
He's currently just 1.6 seconds behind it at this point, and with everything that's happened in this front group and how hard they've been battling, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Timothy Barnes get back up into this lead battle.
See Austin Beloke, Bradley Yo, and Lola Phillip, this 3-way pack. That nice Exalta Jeff Gordon-like fire car. Nice to see that always in the number 24. Back up to the top 5 in the battle for first between Rogers, Burdick, Seeger, Watts, and Mills. They're actually lapping Bruce Rogers.
They certainly are here indeed. But look at these two. Side by side, they're 2 wide, 2 back. They go back down to nearly single file, but they're not going to keep it very long. They're still going to go side by side. Look at Austin Burdick. He wants the position here. And actually, sorry, that's Jonas Seeger who wants the position from Austin Burdick. Burdick tries it around the outside. He is going to make it work. And now Owen Watts is going to try to go with the number 97 of Austin Burdick.
This is the last lap. I believe it's going to be split second to the line. This might be actually like on the line 20 minutes race, because I think they didn't cross it with 2 laps to go. This is white flag racing here at Daytona Road Course, so the racing is going to get real nasty here very soon. So they come into Anton House Hairpin, all but going all the way out into that lighter gravel onto the motor course, and look at this, Jonas Seeger sneaking his way down in there, as that was Barnes back in, just sliding out. Rogers leading by 0.8 of a second, kicking up a little dust. That's Seeger in second. Burdick trying to chase these guys down.
It is Timothy Barnes. He's trying to make a move here. He wants to get up into this front group. He's only 0.9 of a second behind, and he certainly could get there. But right now, Austin Seeger, he's got to deal with both Aaron Rodgers if he can close the 0.6 of a second, and also deal with Austin Burdick behind. Burdick obviously not teammates to these drivers, so he will be doing everything he can, I would assume, will Jonas Seeger, as they're actually going to go side by side through the bus stop. They're going to make contact. Seeger pushes wide. Seeger's out, and he's almost into the wall. Saves it nicely, but he's out of contention. Now Owen Watts is now up in a second. He's got to slow down, though, Austin Burdick. Owen Watts and Jeff Mills are going to go through on the inside. And I think that's going to pretty much give Aaron Rodgers the victory.
Aaron Rodgers is pulling away. Mills' strategy is just waiting in the background until something happens. That's he pulled up because he's pulled out to the outside. Mills is in P2. This is now going to be a drag race for P2 at Daytona, as taking the first round of the YAS Racing Association Championship is Rodgers. It's a 3-way photo finish, and it's going to be Watts in P3, Mills in P2, Burdick in P4, Barnes in P5.
What a last lap move then for Jeff Mills. He goes from 5th place, actually, he was going on to the final lap. He gets all the way up into second. Look at these two. They're going to go side by side. This is Austin Beloke and Joe LaPhillip, and it's going to be Beloke to take it over Phillip here. Brian Zimmerman and Scott Yost again side by side. And we saw some incredible racing here tonight, Austin, from Daytona. I cannot wait to see what Concord brings to us.
That is the action that the YAS Racing Association MX5 Series brings to us. It's just a little short sprint 4-race season, but this is already one of my favorite series to commentate on because, whoa, that last lap was insane. Second through fourth, that finish was so close. As we just look at our timing screens with the intervals between them, 300ths of a second separates all of these cars.
Like you said, 300ths of a second separates them here today. As we wait on the final drivers to cross over the finish line, we will wait to get your official results to you today. Austin, take us through it.
Taking the win, it's Aaron Rodgers, who's getting a lofty 25 points ahead of Jeff Mills, Owen Watts, Austin Burdick, Timothy Barnes, Jonas Seeger, Rachel Williams in 7th, Austin Beloke in 8th, Jola Phillip in 9th, and Bradley Yo in 10th. He's followed up by Scott Yost, Brian Zimmerman, Jamone Banks, Blake Bottoms, Jeremy Root, Eric Whiting, Austin Kelly, Roger Gregory in P18th. In 19th, it is Douglas McLaughlin, Bruce Rogers, Scott Dodd, Jacob Porter, Nick Barsay, and Jason Birch in P24. And that is your results for the A51 YAS Community Racing Series as Aaron Rodgers burnt down the house and he parks it up onto the finish line.
He certainly does indeed, and that will conclude round 1. We wait up for just a few moments time here for everyone to get in for the interviews, and then we will commence that. And but Austin, what are you looking forward to most going into Concord? I mean, we already know that the league can provide some amazing racing, so what are you looking for heading into the next round?
You're putting a lot of pressure on me. I'm getting popcorn next round, honestly. I'm bringing out popcorn because it's Concord. It's a tricky oval. It's very tight. Gonna be very tight racing. It's gonna be very carnage happy. I believe there might be yellows in that race, but I'm not sure. From the form, it might. From what I've seen and what the information I've been given, it might be a demolition derby race that we're going to see. So we're going to see a lot of grassroots racing next round.
It certainly could be. I mean, really, whenever you head to an oval in a car like this, anything could happen, and that is for certain.
Anything definitely could happen. But you see the action that Daytona Road brings on these MX5 cars, and this race really was the wild card race in all this because you had the draft. Now all the next races are very short, not that draft heavy. You're going to have to see all these drivers and all these skills race without the draft and see how they can do without that. So it's going to be all on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders right there to see if he can take that lead and keep it with these next 3 races. And we have a drop round as well.
Yes, we do. So being that it is only a 4-round championship, having a drop round definitely makes it that little bit tighter in the series. So we're going to quickly head to a commercial break here on Apex Racing TV, and when we return, we will have your driver interviews here from Daytona.
And we are back for the YAS Racing Association. What a first round we had. We're in the interview room with Rachel Williams herself. Rachel, how was that race for you?
That race was incredible. I'll gladly take a P7 with the talent that was on the track. Great job, guys. It was very clean racing all the way around from what I saw. I couldn't quite catch up with the lead draft, and Aaron Rodgers and group pulled away from me. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting. But we got incredible talent with the YAS Racing League and A51, so it's not surprising.
We're going to go on to the interesting fact. Standing start onto the tri-oval. How was that experience?
I've had several on the Daytona. It is definitely sketchy. You have to actually counter steer and feather the throttle on the start. Several people probably struggled with that, and where I made up about 2 or 3 spots right off the get-go. But you can gap some people behind when they're caught off just a little bit off guard by that banking, because it wants the rear wants to snap to your left and it wants to snap the car front to the right. So you counter steer a little bit, feather the throttle, and you're good.
Yeah, you told me that you used to race Ferraris here at Daytona. Did you ever do the 24 hours?
No, I have not. It's always been track days. The closest I've come is track days about 2 weeks before the Rolex itself. So, yes, it was a 355 Spider on track, and yeah, it definitely a fun time. So this is my home track. I'm not disappointed to come in 7th because we have incredible talent here, but yeah, it was definitely a good time.
All right, awesome. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out and predictions for this league?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank YAS Racing League Scott Yost for hosting the league and combining this with A51. I want to thank my entire A51 teammates and family. Aaron Rodgers, boss man, who won the race. Thank you so much for inviting me in. And Apex Online Racing for the incredible broadcast. Thank you guys so much for your input, your broadcasting, and just the general overall great job. I really appreciate you.
And we appreciate you too. Thank you, Rachel Williams. You have yourself a great night. And we're going to switch over to the winner of this round, Aaron Rodgers himself. Congrats on the win, Aaron. How was that race?
It was a blast. I don't think you could put it any other way, man. It was crazy. We were swapping the lead, and I tried to push one of the other guys away from everybody, and that backfired. They got a huge run on us, and it was just a blast. It was a ton of fun.
It certainly was. I'm going to be watching this replay and eating popcorn because it was the most exciting 20 minutes I've seen on a racetrack and in a broadcast. It was so close.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hate that Kyle either got out of shape or got a little help, coming back onto the oval. Otherwise, it was going to be probably a 5 or 6 car battle at least, But I got lucky. Guys started racing side by side behind me, and I was able to pull a little bit of a gap just to kind of break up the kind of foursome that was going on up there. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this replay back because it was definitely interesting from the driver's seat anyway.
It definitely was crazy. Now, this was a more wild card race because it's completely different from the rest of the schedule. The rest of the schedule is more technical tracks with the short tracks like Concord and USA International on those ovals. You don't really get a lot of draft out there. So how are those 2 races going to fit into this schedule, and what are they going to bring to this series?
Well, I mean, it's honestly, as far as like the A51 community goes, I mean, we're mainly oval drivers. We're getting better at road and everything, but yeah, I mean, Concord's a special track. I mean, USA, we did our first main community series there, so it'll be good to go back, and it'll be good to get back to a road course at the end. But one drop, it's going to be a wild card. I mean, there's going to be a lot of contact, I feel like, at some of these smaller ovals for sure.
The series finale is definitely going to be one to watch for. But hey, you got yourself all the maximum points that you can today with the win and the pole. So how are you feeling about that? Currently sitting P1 in the championship.
I'd say that's a surprise. I know that there's a bunch of MX5 experts within this group and within this community with Owen and Jonas and Rachel and a bunch of other people. But everybody in this group is really fast. It's really hard to single out one person to say they're a favorite when everybody's got so much speed and pace. But it feels good to get one clean run in, and one week I don't have to drop. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank and shout out?
Just friends and family, my wife, my mom and dad. My dad was actually in the race with us. And then USAfirearms.com and the A51 Discord community and everybody who makes it possible. Pretty much everybody in this race is a member of that community, and it's awesome. And Scott Yost for YAS and hosting everything through his league.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Aaron, for a great race and a great show out there on track.
All right, no problem.
That was Aaron Rodgers, the winner of round 1. Tyler, any finishing thoughts?
I can't wait for next week. This is going to be another action-packed week. We're heading to the first oval. That's going to be really one of the ones I think that we're not too sure about. I mean, we've seen these guys race on an oval with a road course attached. That'll be the first time we'll see them just on an oval, and we'll kind of just see who has it mastered and who is kind of falling behind some more, who's more the road course specialist, and who really knows the oval. I think that will be the answers that we'll get answered next week. That'll also kind of help us, I think, to better determine who we can see possibly in the fight for the championship. Because if you can pick out one driver or two that are very, very quick on both the oval and the road side, then they could be definitely a favorite for the championship. We'll have to wait about a week's time to see that.
Definitely mark your calendars for 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time for January 14th for another great round of racing for the A51 YAS Community Racing Series. I've been joined by Tyler Maxson. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.